Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name's Scratchy and welcome to the Mainspring. Let me just start off by saying thanks, Tan and Lux, just for the help and the link. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just having a little bit of fun here. and yeah, I really appreciate the support. I get a lot of support from a lot of people in the Archieverse and also from Curly, JJ, and everybody in the chat. I've re- you know really appreciate the support and just here to have a bit of fun. So thanks everyone for coming on and listen to me dribble. Really, um, today Jock's out at his anniversary holiday over at Bali with his lovely wife, and he did do a bit of a stream earlier today. But I think he's had a bit of trouble over there doing a bit of streaming. So, but he says to me he might be able to jump on tonight. So hopefully that's the case. Let me say a couple of hellos in the chat. Once you see it, wow. He's the first, always the first on all of these streams. And we also got Brian Tenay. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate you coming on. Luxy Poo. Have a great show, Scratchy. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Really enjoyed your show today. It was really good. And JD doing his typical streaming, which is he just does a good job. It just seems effortlessly for him. I don't know how he does it, to be honest. Brent's here. Discount. Where am I? I don't know. Where am I? Big Tony. New blood for clips. Yeah. I can't wait for the day when I'm part of a clip. Although I've been a part of a couple of clips, but I've managed to get out with my skin on my back. Tan, howdy Scratchy, linked work, mate. Thanks, Tan. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the directions. Because otherwise I would have had no clue how to do it. I'm still trying to use StreamYard. I'm still using the free version. But I've had a bit of conversation with my IT man, Ken from Scotch Down Under. Shout out to him. I'm probably going to change over and get the paid version to restream. So it's a similar platform, does all the same stuff. Just the user face is slightly different. So, and it's been a bit of a learning curve just trying to use StreamYard. So quickly trying to use a new stream or a new streaming platform. Will be interesting for the next week's show, but let's worry about that then. Patrick B, hey there, Scratchy. Hey, Patrick. Patrick's a good bloke, and he's had a bit of a rough time this year, but he's been a great supporter, and he's a great supporter for all the Archie shows. So, hey, Patrick. Brent, hey, Scratchy. Hey, Brent, how you going? Brent, let me make sure that you get a wrench, mate. Let me just swap over. There we go. You should have a wrench, Brent. And Phoenician Cedar. Good evening, Scratchy, and greetings to the chat. Let me make him a bit of a blue as well. Oh, Big Tony. Big Tony's not blue. Let's change that. So I've only got one screen, so I've got to go back and forward. So have a bit of patience. Patrick B. Ken is a good dude. 100%. He's a great dude. And if nobody has seen his channel yet, presumably you all have, but if you haven't, he runs a stream called Scotch Down Under, where he talks about scotches, ports, wines, all sorts of things, as well as watches and just generally everything, as long as it's not politics. But he's also streaming tonight, so no doubt he'll go much longer than I, and I'll probably jump on there after this little show. So yeah, if you want to watch something enjoyable after this, and have a look at some of the stuff that he's got on his platform is crazy. You can play slots, you can gamble, you can trivia. It's fantastic, some of the stuff that you can do. Brian, a bit of karaoke. Nah, I won't be doing karaoke. And yeah, and a couple of people are saying thanks. So today's a bit of an off the cuff stream. Unfortunately, I was out all day, and not that I really plan what I'm going to talk about on these streams, but I try to have a couple of talking points that, because let's face it, it's hard to dribble on for an hour or two without them. But unfortunately today we're doing a bit of winging it. But I wanted to come on, at least come on, do a show. I'm getting a lot of support, especially from Tan and Alikes, as I've said. And I want to try and do at least one show per week. So I thought, let's just do it. Let's just wing it. See how it goes. So here I am. What's this from Brian? Brian Tenay. Scratchy. What is your real first name? Or you want to keep that private? Usually with channels, hosts, owners, we all know their first names except the Mookie. Yeah. Unfortunately, Brian, I'll keep that to myself. Scratchy's good enough. It's one word. It's just like share. It's not that hard to remember. So that's what we're going to go with. What's the first talking point? Well, I've got half a talking point, to be honest. But let me just go through a couple more of these chats. Tan, first talking point. Wearing dress watches whilst eating Chico rolls, ideal. Well, look, a good watch is good for anything. You gonna wear a Chico roll, or you're gonna go to a 5-star restaurant. You can. It does anything. That shows you the versatility of a good dress watch. So you can do anything in a good dress watch, because what do they say? The watch maketh the man. So Chico roll as good as any. Good to see this stream, Scratchy. Thanks, Jeff. I'll make you blue as well. Everyone's blue. What's this? Are you having guests on the show, or are you giving out links? No, I haven't planned any guests. Only that I spoke to Jock, and Jock said that he might be able to jump on, but it just depends. Like, I don't want to put any pressure on him. He's out, on his anniversary holiday and having fun with the wife. So if he jumps on, fantastic, and if not, you can listen to me dribble on my own. Let me, while I say that, let me post the link. Look, I know the Archieverse can be intimidating and a bit scary jumping on the panels, and trust me, I've had the exact same thought, at various times, and still do. Even being on here now is a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest. But if anybody wants to jump on it, anybody's welcome. So if you want to, the link's there in the chat, and anybody can jump on. So the first and only really talking point that I sort of have at the moment is, as I've said in the past, I bought that Tudor Pelagos 42 black titanium, um, and as you do, you watch 1,000 videos before you buy it, and then I had that little issue with the bezel. So I sort of keep watching some of the reviews and all that sort of stuff, and I came across an article, well, a couple actually, about the history of Tudor and how it all sort of came about. And we all know that the typical um, narrative of, it was obviously started in 1926 by Hans Waldorf, but he actually didn't um, take it over originally. He created it and then handed it off to his friend, who ran it for approximately 10 years, until 1936, when Hans actually took over the actual running of the business and took it in a new direction. But the interesting point for me was that in 1932, they actually started importing Tudor watches into Australia. Now, let me see if I can bring this up. Present slide. Sorry, guys, I'm still new at this. Okay. Hopefully you can all see that. So there it is there. That's the Tudor watch that was one of the first designed Tudor watches, and it came across, or they tested the market out in Australia. It first started out in Melbourne, under a jeweler, or a family set of jewelers' name, which was down the bottom. It's Chinarks, sorry, which they put their name on the doll. And if you notice, the interesting point for me was that, have a look at the logo. Let me see if I can blow this up. No, that's as big as I can get it. But notice the T goes straight across the whole Tudor name. All right. I've never seen that before. I saw the Tudor Rose before, and I've saw obviously the Tudor, the new Tudor Shield. But I thought that was really interesting, how the watches were completely different. They were completely like a self-design, and this is obviously before they started using Rolex parts, essentially. They were making their own designs, putting a off-the-shelf movement, and so basically for the first 10 years of that, well, of their watchmaking sort of business, they actually didn't use Rolex parts. So that was really interesting, because if you have a look at a lot of the stuff, all about the history of Tudor and that, it's always, the poor man's Rolex, and, you look at the Tudor Submariner, and it's got the Rolex crown, it's got the Rolex back, it's got the Rolex, some of the bracelets, and then they would use an ETA-based movement built into them and sell them cheaper. But just the fact that I was able to find this, I thought it was quite interesting that, and not many people actually bring it up, that it was completely autonomous, or completely independent of Rolex at the beginning. Then later, obviously in 1936, when Hans, for whatever reason, either wasn't happy, or whatever the reason was, it doesn't say, but he took it over, and then that's when they started using excess parts, or whatever the case may be, from Rolex. So let me bring that back. There we go. I just thought it was a little bit of an interesting point, and it's not a point that I've really seen much about. I just I just thought it was an interesting thing, and that logo, like even when you see people talk about the logos, um, they always talk about the creation of Tudor, and they talk about the initial um, logo, the Tudor the Tudor rose was the one that was first came in, and you could see that that's, well, at least in Australia anyway, that wasn't true. So yeah, it was just a little bit interesting. I wanted to do a bit more research, but like I said, I've been a bit busy, and but yeah, that was the first thoughts. Let me have a look at this. Patel Philippe, Patrick B. Meanwhile, while I have Seiko turtles, I wouldn't sell you. I wouldn't sell you. No, nothing. Nothing against Tudor. They are a great brand. I just get bored with them. Happens with Rolex with me too. Yeah, I guess that's with any brand, Tan. You know what I mean? Anybody can. It doesn't matter what you've got. I've got a Seiko King Turtle, and along with some other you know brands, and you get sort of sick of them. And that's the advantage of having a few watches. You can flick it around, and by the time it comes back around again, you it's a whole new watch again for you. What's this from Big Tony? Would the Rolex brand be devalued if Tudor started using ceramic bezel inserts? They are using ceramic bezel inserts, Big Tony. With my with the Tudor that you can see on the screen, the Tudor Pelagos, it's a ceramic bezel contained in titanium, but it's a matte finish ceramic, so they haven't shined it up like the ceramic bezels that Rolex make, and I assume that that's obviously clearly deliberately, so that I think they want to stick with the toolish look to them, and two, they probably don't want to outshine their main product. So, but they do use ceramic bezels. As far as I know, the Pelagos is the only one. I think they're still using aluminium or aluminum, that the Americans say, in the other ranges, but stand to be corrected. Okay, what else we got? Oh, here we go. Big Tony. Black Bay 58 range ceramic. Oh, okay. I thought they were still using ceramic bezels, but there you go. Oh, this is Patel responding back to Patrick. Back in the day, you could wear a GMT, no issues, nobody would notice. Now just need something a bit more stealthy. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sure about the rest of the world. I'm definitely not a traveller. But in Australia, if you wore, in the main cities in Australia, if you walked along with a Rolex, people probably wouldn't even notice, to be brutally honest. If somebody into watches, they'd notice, but most people just wouldn't even pay attention. It's just not on a radar. Could you get robbed for your Rolex? You could get robbed for your mobile phone these days, because they're probably more of a commodity that everybody wants. And if they saw it on your wrist, well, and somebody sees Rolex, well, I guess they're going to take that too. But would they rob you specifically, for a Rolex? Most people wouldn't know, and especially the criminals. They're pretty dumb down here in Australia. They'd rob you for your mobile phone first. What else have we got? Patrick B. I wish Tudor would do a lollipop hands again. Look. To be honest, I understand what you're saying. And when I bought the Pelagos, I was not a fan of, um, the snowflake hand, straight up. But the rest of the watch was what I wanted. It met the criteria that I wanted, the value for money, and to be honest, you just get used to it. You really do. It's not, I don't know, it's not offensive, in any way. In real life, you just get used to it. I guess it's anything you just get used to. Um, and I don't mind it. It's now a signature of Tudor, so presumably they're not going to get rid of it. If anything, knowing Tudor and Rolex as they are, they'll double down and that'll be the hand forever. Depending on the model. I mean, they do have other models that don't have it, but I think for a majority of their watches, it's become a talking point or a signature to their watches, and I think they'll continue to do it. And again, it's just something different, and that's why some people don't like it and some people do. It's the same as the Mercedes hands. It's phenomenous. It's synonymous with Rolex, and people have just got used to it. And there's some people that don't like it. It's like when they went from the baton hands, on the Submariner, to then they changed their hands, and at first I don't think it had a very good welcome, but eventually you know, people can't live without it now. So there we go. Oh, here, hang on a sec. Skyzen. The black base ceramic was the first metals movement. The black base ceramic was their first metals movement. Not sure what he's trying to say, Skyzen. But Patel, people often forget the Tudor North Flag, the first tuner with the in-house chronometer movement. Sorry. Yeah, you know what? I actually like that North Flag. I was looking at it the other day, and it's holding its value. Just quietly down here in Australia. I'm not sure what it's like around the world, but I really like the yellow. It really pops in that watch. And the only Tudor really wasn't. I wouldn't have called it my favourite brand, but since buying the watch, obviously, like I said, you look into things, and they've got some nice watches, and value for money. I know people sort of have a go at them and all the rest of it, but like you even look at say the Pelagos, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I like divers watches. That's my style. I'm not a dress watch person. Um, I like the more sports watch, and particularly the dive watch. I really like the dive watch. Now you look at the Pelagos. It's a 42 millimeter watch, which may be a little bit big for some, and they've brought in the 39. A little bit sad that they dropped the water rating and stuff, but I can see why they did it. They wanted to get away from the thickness, but um, with the Pelagos, like you've got that helium escape valve that's automatic, built into the side of the watch, is clearly Rolex technology. It's 500-meter diver, ceramic bezel, made of full titanium, and it's got the in-house movement. Now, granted, it's not a Rolex, and it's not a Rolex in-house movement, but there's a lot of technology there from Rolex, and you're not paying the Rolex price, clearly because it doesn't have Rolex on the dial. But you're getting a lot of good value out of it. It's a great watch, looks good for me. The bracelet, I don't know if it gets enough love. The bracelet. No, we're not talking about the clasp, but the bracelet is phenomenal. The articulation in that bracelet, mate, it never pinches. The articulation around your wrist. I don't care if you've got a round wrist, a square wrist, an oval wrist. It can conform to anything. It can fold up on itself. It's a phenomenal bracelet, and clearly that technology, I would say, has come through the Rolex designers. All right, watches and whiskers. Which state in Australia are you, Scratchy? Well, as I've said before, I'm in the greatest state of New South Wales, which is Sydney, in Australia. It's the largest city in Australia, and I was born and bred here. Fortunately for me, um, great place to live. Is it a little bit expensive? Yes, it is. But when you live here, I guess it's all relative. So let's go down. Hang on, let's make watches blue. Everybody gets blue, and the only time they don't get blue is, if they get made unblue, will be if they're rude or start being silly in the chat. So, what's this from Tan? Tudor should keep up the snowflake hands for the Black Bay lineups. Keep the dive focus. They should do homage pieces to the Rolex off different hands. Maybe not Mercedes, but shake it up. Yes and no, in my opinion. I think, although I like the Black Bay range, and I like it how it goes back to the heritage and it has that heritage look to it. In my opinion, going forward, I think Tudor really need to focus going forward, opposed to look back. I mean, everybody goes back to their past catalogues, as in, all the brands, they'll go back and have a look at their past catalogues and try to reimagine them or do them again. And I accept that, and I think that's a well-proven manner of business. But I think Tudor too, like if you're looking at their complete range, in their history, or let's say modern history, they really need to go forward and design new watches, completely new watches. Like the Pelagos is a completely new watch for them, and really forge their own identity, I guess the word would be. I think they really need to do that, in my humble opinion. And I think that might help them go up a couple of levels. Basil Beazles. Metas. Yeah, well, Tudor are trying to change their last couple of models have been Meta certified, where Rolex have never considered it, and I don't think they will, in my opinion, because they're two different philosophies. Rolex have made it; they're there. They're a luxury brand. They're a known brand. I mean, they're probably the best well-known brand. Period. Forget watches. Every single person knows what a Rolex is. You go up to anybody in the street and go, "Have you ever heard of the brand Rolex?" Everyone knows what it is. And I don't think they need to work so hard, obviously to sell their watches or to show how good their watches are. But I think Tudor do, because apart from us in the community, where we all know that Tudor is part of Rolex. I know from me where I if somebody has a look at my watch and they go, "Tudor, I've never heard of Tudor," they don't know the link between Tudor and Rolex, and I don't even bother telling them. It's a pointless sort of exercise, really. Nor do I consider I guess in modern times it's been a bit of a what would the word be? Maybe a little bit of a derogatory term, where they'll say it's the poor man's Rolex. Um, you know, I guess at some stage it may have been or whatever, but I think they're really trying to forge forward now and make a name for themselves. The companies have got complete different managements now. They're not under all the same umbrella as they once were, and they're made out of different factories now, and they're really separating. Um, their philosophy. They're separating their their watch range. And I think that's a good thing for Tudor, for them going forward and for them to climb the ranks. Um, Obviously, they take some design cues and some business acumen from Rolex, where they try to keep their range relatively small, especially if you consider somebody like Omega, who you know might make the Aquaterra and then make 15 or 20 different variation color schemes, you know, whatever in relation to that one watch. Um, you know, Look, is that good for the customer? What Omega do? Yeah, like in my opinion, 100%. If I don't like the green dial, I can get the blue dial. If I don't like the blue dial, I can get the black dial, and so on and so on. And all the different strap choices and all that. But I think Tudor are following the Rolex, business plan, where they're trying to keep it simple and they're trying to bring out a limited amount of variation in relation to the watches. And I guess time will tell if that's going to work well for them. Um, I think it will. I mean, it's worked for Rolex, I guess, clearly. But um, oh, gone a bit blank. But yeah, but I think going forward they need to you know um, create some new designs. Even now, I think they're getting a little bit bogged down where they brought out that Black Bay in the solid gold. Um, Again, it's just another Black Bay. Okay, it's in solid gold, granted. The price is you know high, getting right up there. Um, but it's not a new watch, and that's where I really think that Tudor need to come out and do a new watch. And I think the market will go nuts for it. But they're going to move slow, just like Rolex, for obvious reasons, and we'll just have to see what happens. But I'd really like them to see some new watches come out. I'd like to see some variations or a new model in relation to the North Flag and the Ranger model, um, that field watch type um, model. Um, but I guess time will tell. What's this? Big Tony. Archie's moving up in the world, away from the pond scum. There's a whole wide world out there, YouTubers of other watch channels, and respect to the pontiff, and will jump on live. Yeah, I mean, look, Archie. I think it's pretty much well renowned. Archie started all this. I don't know of anybody, um, going around any longer than Archie in relation to the watch space. And yeah, has he? Is it starting to take his toll on him? I'm going to go, yeah. His life getting in the way? Yeah. But at the end of the day, look, I did a show. I've done 3 shows. This is the 3rd show. And to be honest, for me, I get a bit nervous about it. I get a bit nervous, trying to even think of some different things to talk about. And he's doing it twice a day, 7 days a week for, what is it, 14 years or something. So hats off to him. Does he get a little bit unresponsive of time? Yes. But you can't waver from his sort of commitment and how long he's done it for and how well regarded he is. Like he says silly things and he says stick, like sort of what do they call it, stick and all that sort of stuff. But the amount of people around the world, even if they've, you know, they sort of, not regulars or come onto the stream, mate. People have watched him. 100% people have watched him, and they either do that and then take cues from him and make their own shows, or they listen to him and have taken ideas. So, and he had none of that. Let's be honest. He had nobody to model himself off or to sort of take any cues from to start his show. He just went, made it all up himself, and you can only take your hat off to him for that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's that, I guess. What's this from Spunky Hunk? Spunky Hunk. Let me just see. Spunky Hunk. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do a couple of things. Spunky Hunk, here we go. Let's make you blue as well, Spunky Hunk. He's always got a good comment or two to make. All right, that's out of the question for Tudor. I'm not sure what he's referring to. Always data to be second best to Rolex, mediocrity, hence undeniability position in the sub-integrosity class. Dump it and run. I disagree. Yep, I disagree. I agree with the part. Sorry, I agree and disagree. I do disagree. I agree with there's no way that Rolex are ever going to allow them to go up to the lengths of Rolex. 100%. That's true. Will they be mediocrity? No, I think they've already passed mediocrity. Are they in the lower tier of the luxury watch space? 100%. And I think that's where the position they want to be. They want to take. This is just my opinion. This is, don't take me as any sort of oracle, but I think they want to battle the lower brands, such as or take some market share from the likes of Omega, Longines, Tissot, and similar like brands. I think that's where they're going to want to be, and that's where they're going to want to sort of place themselves. But I don't think that they'll ever, and Rolex won't let them. I agree with that part. Rolex won't let them dump it and run. No, not at all. I think the watch that I've got, I think it's a very good watch. I've had it now for a fair bit of time. Probably, let me guess, roughly 8 months or so. Best watch I've ever had. Not that I've ever had spent a lot of money on watches, but it's a great watch. Scratchy, can you send those in case anyone wants to join the panel? Yep, I'll drop it again. Thanks, Brian, for reminding me. If anybody wants to jump on, if anybody can like and subscribe. Last time I checked, I had 76 subscribers. So if I can get that subscriber level up, that'd be fantastic and a lot of help. And a like or a down vote is good either way. Apparently, it's good for the analytics, or in YouTube. To be brutally honest, I don't even know what that means, but everybody says it. So if you could do it, that'd be great. What's this from Venetian Cedar? I often see Tan on other random channels. Tan always promotes the Archieverse. Respect to Tan. Yeah, 100%. Look, I think Tan gets a bit of a bum rap sometimes. Whilst everything's going good, Tan, you're a great bloke, blah, blah, blah. When things go wrong, it's all Tan's fault. And it's, look, he does it, he supports Archieverse. Like when I say Archieverse, not just the Archie main show and the Lux show, he supports all the channels, financially and, um, in the background. Just helping people with bits and pieces. I mean, even with my tiny little channel, that's you know here we are, 3 episodes in, just help them to promote me, and gave me some instructions earlier today on the Lux show how to accept a link. I didn't even know that you had to change anything to accept a link. It's all new for me. Um, and he supports everybody. So what can you say? I'm not going to keep going on, but yes, he does. Big Tony. Oh, Tony, I answered this a minute ago. You just asked what state. The state is called New South Wales. I live in the country called Australia. The state is called New South Wales, and the city is called Sydney. Ryan, Scratchy, your thoughts on Ryan Joffrey? Does he get a blue wrench here? Yeah, of course he does. Did I miss him? Like I said, everybody will get a blue wrench, especially the people I know. If there's just some randoms that I don't know, I might be a little bit slower. But everybody will get a wrench right up until if they just start being stupid. That's pretty much, like, I'll just be honest with you. If people are just going to start being stupid, well, that's when I'll take it. But I'm not going to play this game with, you know, with wrenches. But yep, 100%. I haven't seen a chat from him, and if there is, Ryan, just put one in, and I will give you a wrench. All right, let me just go down. Sorry, I'm just back a couple. What's this from Tan? Oh, Big Tony, sorry. Archie has a lot of active subs on the Paul Pooter channel, and he should try and do a stream on that channel. Yeah, I don't know. Depends what he wants that channel for, I guess. Patel, Big Tony, yes, we're fired up using the community page. This is to inform people of the live streams. His YouTube rep told him to keep certain channels separate, but it can help promote his other one. Well, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, look, a lot of these big YouTubers, they've all got second channels, you know, for different types of content, I guess. Some are for videos, some are for live streams, some are for different content completely of their main content, and some are just backup channels. I guess that's what they're doing at the moment. What's this? 10 again. AC3 has thousands of people who have commented on his videos over the years. You don't think if he replied to a couple hundred of them, he couldn't replenish 30 or 40 viewers? Yeah, look, I mean, the amount of comments that he gets would, you'd spend all day, and he's streaming twice a day, so I don't think I think it'd be a full-time gig. And you got to remember, people like, say Nico, for example, just to pop one out because he's probably, the biggest. He's got a whole team behind him. He's not the one answering those questions and the comments and all that sort of stuff. He's got a whole team behind him. I mean, good on him. That's a great way to do it. But, Archie doesn't have a whole team behind him. So I guess that would, take up your entire day. What else have we got? And that's the difference between him and Timok. They don't have the same Rolex or Rolodex. Yes. Apparently, oh, sorry. Apparently, it's better to keep live streams and videos on separate channels. Yeah, apparently so. Um, Look, I guess it's probably better when people are looking for things and keeps people main focus. Look, I've only got this tiny little channel, so with 76 subscribers last time I looked. So if anybody can subscribe and help it grow, that'd be great. But this is just a bit of fun for me, so I don't know too much about all of that. Says 10. Our main focus right now is to bring in a new type of panelist. Have some fun, talk watches, and move forward, not back to the old panelists. Yeah. Look, I mean, anybody that's been around for a few years, watch panelists come and go. People come, they have fun. When they're not having fun, they go away for a bit, and a new bunch come in. And when there's a certain panelist on or a certain type of panelist come on, and somebody's got something in common with them or like them, or then other panelists will come in with a similar, pardon me, a similar sort of thing. So I agree. Just got to move forward. And Archie will survive. Things aren't probably the best at the moment, but he'll keep going. There's no doubt about it. Spunky Hunk. Scratchy, my comment about Tudor watches wasn't meant to be taken literally. Cheers. Oh, okay. Sorry, mate. I was just reading it the way I am. Like I said, I'm still a bit new at this and probably a bit nervous. Still trying to get my head around it and run a show. And this is the first show I've had to do by myself. I've been lucky enough to have my mental jock and Ken on the last last two streams, and I've received a great lot of support from those guys, and I'm still just new at it, so just trying to do my best, as they say. Brian Tony, Archie is like a golfer, solo tennis player. He doesn't do well in a team, hence collabs won't work long term. I don't know. Look, when look at just to take that. What's that new fellow's name? Jay Anthony. Look, obviously he's pretty well rounded. He knows watches, he knows cars, he knows sort of fair bit about different things. Look at Archie. He's highly engaged with him when he's on. Well, a couple of shows that I've seen. So I don't think that's entirely true. I think you've just got to pique his interest. You've got to just like anybody, I guess, what you're interested this year, you've got a new interest next year and so on. So, he's just like the rest of us, today, or what, like yesterday bored you, today it interests you. I don't think that's true. I think that, with the right collabs, he'll do okay. Phoenician Cedar. You found great, Scratchy. Keep up the good work. You're a natural. Oh, thanks, Phoenician. I really appreciate it. Another New South Welshman, I believe. So, mate, apparently we're going to get some rain. We're going to get some European rain in the next couple of days, I reckon. We're going to get 1 month's worth of rain in 2 days in Sydney. So, that'll be interesting. Hopefully you're nowhere near any of the flooding. Um, 10. The drama pillow wasn't Curly or Narcs before it was Archie's. We do not forget his videos in the Wynn Hotel saying there's no peace with Tim. Yeah, I think he's always done. Hasn't he always done what do they call it? The Viper eyes? He's always gone off and blown up. I mean, the classic one that I always think that was hilarious, the biggest, one that I remember when I first started watching, was when he blew up at Blondie, what do you mean you don't like that bloody watch? And started screaming and carrying on. He's always done that, and the clapping of their hands and, you know, not holding back and telling people their watches are shitters and all that sort of stuff. So, um, yeah, Archie started all of this. I don't think that's undeniable. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Ken, same thing. I think that's true. What else is here? Brian, out of 100 YouTubers, Archie can probably do collabs consistently with 4 to 5 of the 100, is what I meant. Sorry, true, he will gel with the few like that he does with. Yeah, I agree. Is he going to be talking flowers? No. You know, is he going to be talking about, folding napkins? No. Obviously, it's got to be in his wheelhouse, and that'd be with any channel. It doesn't matter if it's, whatever the channel is. It's got some sort of genre to it, you know. And if you're going to have a collab with anybody, it's got to be within those parameters. So, um, yeah, it's got to be a suitable fit. And what else have we got here? Oh yeah, hang on a sec. Big Tony, does anyone remember when he separated from the dog trainer of a Chinese mistress? Well, I remember him separating from the dog trainer. Actually, I remember watching a show. I remember watching a show a couple of years ago, where they'd separated for whatever reason. I can't remember what the reason was back then. And Mark was coming on and rebel streaming Archie's show, and would come on and just go, I've started a stream just purely because, the big fat guy's on and Archie Luxury is running a show, and I'm just going to keep rebel streaming him. That was hilarious. I thought. So look, they've had their off and ons. I really like Mark, by the way. I think he's great value. I like his videos too. But like I said, people come and go, and some will come back, and that's the Archieverse. Phoenician Cedar, Canterbury area, Scratchy. Mind you, the Cooks River floods heaps though. Yes, it does. Anywhere near there. I'm near the Nepean. I'm up in the mountains. Well, we don't get flooded. There'll be a cold day in hell the time I get flooded up in the mountains. But the old Nepean River. Not so much up where I am, but further down, they hit the Hawkesbury, and they shouldn't have let half those people build. That's why they wouldn't let them build for years and years and years. For the rest of the people, around the world, there's an area called the Hawkesbury in Australia or New South Wales, and essentially it's a floodplain. And because land has become, sort of the Sydney has spread, and land has become much more expensive, they've allowed people to build on the floodplains, and it's been a disaster, especially the last sort of 4 to 5 years. People losing their houses, they rebuild them, and then a year later they're getting, just getting flooded again. They're losing livestock because a lot of it's all acreage and all that sort of stuff. It's terrible. They can't even insure their houses out there anymore, which is even worse. So not good. What's this? Phoenician Cedar, Lower Mountains. Yeah, Lower Mountains, mate. Lower Mountains. I've been out here the last 24 years. I actually grew up in a place called Lidcombe. I don't know if you know that, Phoenician. I grew up in a place called Lidcombe, went to school in Auburn, or Lidcombe and Auburn, and old Seb Nelly went to the same school as me, I think a few years behind me. So, but yeah, living in the Lower Mountains, lovely place to live. except when the bushfires come, it gets a little bit nervy. Big Tony, if Nark is still awake and Curly is out of bed, they could both hop on the stream because it's neutral ground. Look, everyone's welcome. Big Tony, everyone's welcome. So until they do something that they shouldn't, everyone's welcome. You've got to give everyone a chance. I know Lidcombe very well, mate. Oh, you got friends in Springwood? Yeah, well, that's right next to me. So nice place, Springwood. Yeah, Auburn, Lidcombe, yeah. Habibi, yes, Habibi. Yeah, so I'm really not sure where to go, but yeah, again, if anybody wants to jump on, I'll drop the link one more time. Like I said, if anybody's welcome, or everybody is welcome, jump on. If not, that's okay too. You can just sit in the chat. But again, I'd really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe and the like. It would help the channel a lot. So, Big Tony, do you know who Spanion is? Yes, Spanion. He's an ex-crook who's turned YouTube into a career. He's now opened a kebab shop. Well, he calls it a kebab, but it seems to be a sort of a mixture between some sort of sandwich and a kebab. Haven't tried it though. But I've enjoyed some of his videos. You know what I mean? Good on him. I mean, he's turned his life around and he's making a fair whack out of YouTube, I believe. Yeah, good on him. So yeah, just to go back to the Tudor talk that I was originally talking about, I wanted to do a little bit more research about that Tudor logo with the long T, as I showed earlier. Where it come from? Who who designed it? Where did it come from? I'd really like to know, and if anybody knows, let me know. Otherwise, I'll research it. I did have the name earlier of the gentleman that was running the Tudor organisation from when it was started to 1936 when Hans Wildorf took over. But apparently he was a friend of Hans's, so that's apparently why he gave him control of it. But yeah, I was just wondering, is there an author to that design, or was it strictly made for the Australian market only, and the Tudor rose was elsewhere? But yeah, I just thought it was interesting when I saw it. It was different, and nobody's really ever spoken about that long T, the long T sort of design. Brian Tony, Scratchy and Phoenician, top 3 kebab shops in Sydney. That's a controversial one. I used to like Hey Hey Kebabs in Auburn 20 years ago, 25 years ago. They were great. Now, not so good. He microwaves all his meat and he's terrible. So let me go from, I'll just do a range of ones. There's Sofra in Auburn. I think they're pretty good. And Penrith has Nepean pizza and kebabs. And somewhere in between would be, let me think. No, I can't think of a third one. There was one in Maryland, so I just can't think of the name of it, to be honest. They used to be on the main drag right next to the lights there. I can't think of their name. They used to be pretty good. I don't mind myself a bit of a kebab, especially in the late night after a couple of drams. What's this here? Big Tony. Have to reach out to Spanion's management team and get Spanion on AC3's live stream and teach Spanion how lucrative live streams is. Look, I think he's got a whole team behind him. I think he knows what live streams, how they work. But I think he's on a pretty good wicket. He's flying all around the world. I've seen him, through Europe and, all around Australia and America and whatever. So I think whatever he's doing, it's working for him. We need an Archie eating kebab in double speed. Imagine him eating a kebab at double speed. It's bad enough when he's eating the KFC chicken. He'd get it all over himself too. He's a bit of a messy eater. So unless he ate it slowly, I could see him getting it all over himself. Like I said, I didn't really have any further talking points. So I'm sort of just relying on the chat at the moment. Brian, let's see Brian's top 4. Brothers Kebabs, Banksia. Number 2, Sydney Kebabs at Bankstown. Number 3, Sultan's Kebabs, Waitara, Hornsby. Well, you get around. And New Star Kebabs at Kebabs at Auburn. I don't mind them either. They're down near towards the station. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. They do the Turkish bread type where they roll it. They sort of, I don't know, sear the bread and then they roll it rather than use the Lebanese bread. But yes, I know New Star Kebabs, and they're pretty good too. Oh, here we go. Here's Phoenician's top 3. What's Up Brothers at Condell Park. Number 2, Brothers Kebabs at Banksia. Well, that seems to be popular. I've never been there. And New Star Kebabs at Auburn. There you go. 2 of the 4 from the previous. So if anybody's out there in New South Wales, try those kebab shops. There's actually a bloke on YouTube. I can't remember his name. He's going around trying 2,000 kebab shops in New South Wales. Apparently he owns his own kebab shop. And he's going around and rating every kebab shop. I don't know if anybody's seen him, but he goes into great detail actually. How from the wrapping to the the grease on the paper to the meat selection to how fresh the lettuce and tomato and the bread is, and he goes right into it. He probably does a little 2 or 3 minute detailed dive and then rates them. So if anybody's right into their kebabs, try and have a look at him. The Whatever Podcast live streams does it very well. Now, I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Big Tony. It must be further up the chat. Yeah, so that's pretty much the talking points that I had, guys. Really not sure what else to talk about. What about you guys? Let me put it to you this way. Let me post a question out to you. What do you guys think of what Tudor are doing now, opposed to what they've done in the past? And where do you think their future is? Going forward. I think I've sort of expressed those points, in my opinion. I wonder what you guys think. I know there's this point where you hear it a lot on YouTube and various points where people are comparing Tudor to Omega, and is Tudor nipping the heels of Omega? My opinion is no, and I'll try to explain a little bit why no. I think that, you know, obviously, I think Amiga in relation to their movements make a, a, a really good movement. That 8800 and the 8900 coaxial movements are phenomenal. And they're trying to push themselves up higher, in my opinion, like up to the Rolex level, because they've always been behind Rolex. Let's be honest. I know that might upset some of the Omega people, but that's really where the business is at, and they're trying to push themselves up. So, if you look at even the Pelagos against the oh, I mean, the Pelagos is sort of in between the Seamaster 300 and the Deep Sea. Um, you know, if you have a look at their design cues, they've got the shiny bezel, they've got the ceramic bezel, they've got different pretty fancy sort of color dials, and their bracelets are polished in different areas and all that. I think they're trying to move up, and I think Tudor are trying to take their place. For the moment, who knows what happens in the future, but I think that um, that's where they are at this point. So let's have a look here. Right. What is the channel name of the person doing 2,000 kebab shops in Australia? He's not a channel on YouTube. He's a channel on TikTok. Let me see if I can quickly. He'll probably pop up on my TikTok. Let me have a quick look. I'll keep sort of flicking through while I'm talking to you guys, and if I find him, Brian, I'll let you know. What's this from Patrick? I think Tudor is satisfying a lot of curmudgeons like me who love the old Rolex as a part of it anyway. Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing with the Black Bay range. Let's be honest, they're making a homage, I guess, to it's a form of homage to the Submariner and some of the Rolex watches. But I think they've still got to look forward. They're going to have to create some new watches, completely different, like the Pelagos, as an example, and they've got to go forward. Any business has got to go forward, and they've got to innovate. They can't rely on the past catalog and expect that formula is going to work forever. Look, at the moment, it's worked really well for them. You know what I mean? Since coming back in 2012, dropping off the North American market, they've come a long way. But if you have a look at their sales stats over the last, they jumped into skyrocketed really since 2012 into the top 10 brands. Now they're sitting at about I think it's about the 9th brand, and they've sort of been sitting at 7, 8, 9 last couple of years, and I think that's why they've got to innovate. If they want to continue to climb that ladder. Got to hit the sack, guys. Great show, Scratchy. Take care, boys. Thanks, Phoenician. Appreciate it. Appreciate you staying up late and participating in the chat. But yeah, like I said, Tudor's gonna have to. I think they're going to be forced to create new watches, completely new designs, and it's one. It can only be a good thing, despite how people accept them. They might hate the watch or whatever. But I think when you're talking about watches and wonders or whatever, and a new watch comes out, I think the watch community will go nuts over it. Oh, here you go. Who was it? Was it Brian was asking me about this bloke's, the kebab bloke's name? I'll type it in the chat. It's at ox_show. And he's going around and rating 2,000 kebab shops. Big Tony. Anyone seen that Aussie YouTubers club best who's a backflipper on YouTube? Sorry, I don't understand that. Anyone seen that Aussie YouTuber call best who's backflip of backpacker flipper on YouTube? No, I don't know who that is. I don't know who you're talking about there, Tony. That Brian Tony, maybe he got robbed or took punters' consignment watches. He'd be good on an AC3 show. That was that bloke. Oh, I don't want to say the name just in case I get it wrong. I don't want to go and disparage somebody's company and I get it wrong. But there was a bloke in Sydney that did a similar thing to, or as Anthony in relation to taking consignment watches and then, taken off in the middle of the night, left the country, so on and so on. But I think the authorities are chasing him. His name is Carl Best. No, I haven't seen it, mate. I'll have to try and look it up. Look, guys, we've been going for, an hour and 43 minutes. I think that's where I'll leave it tonight. If nobody wants to jump on, I'll give it one more try. But like I said, I really appreciate everybody coming on. Like into the chat and interacting. Listen to me dribble on about nothing. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope entertained in some way, and you've enjoyed the chat. A couple of times during the week, to be honest, I've noticed that after the Luck show, there's been no shows, and I've sort of been half-hearted. Should I start a show and just run it off the cuff and just give something, give back to you guys and just something to watch? And I might even try doing that, from time to time, but we'll see how we go. And yeah, what's this? Patrick B. Maybe sometime I will scratching. Still a little bit shy about jumping on. Good show, and I hope you'd do another one soon. Yeah, Patrick B, mate, I understand 1,000%. It's intimidating to jump on the shows. I'm intimidated now. I'm intimidated being on my own show. But I guess it's you can get on some of these shows. Maybe not mine, but and although you're part of the panel, you can take a little bit of time and sit back and listen to what the other panelists are doing or what they're talking about, and you can just sort of chime in a couple of comments here or there, and just build your confidence that way a little bit, on the smaller channels. I was always really hesitant in jumping on, even when Angelic and Tommy used to do some dungeons. And a couple of times there wasn't many of us on, and they would, say jump on, and I'd be a bit, nah, I'm not doing that. And then I started jumping on Ken's stream, who's easy to talk to. So that's how I started, mate. So, you're always welcome here. Hey, Skyzen, how you going, mate?
Yeah, not bad, Scratchy, not bad. I've only just been out to jump on because I've had to do housework.
Oh, mate, we've all got to do the hard work before we come on and play.
Exactly.
Uh,
But yeah, I made a mistake earlier when I was talking about the black base ceramic. I was meant to
yeah.
say it was their first metis movement, not metal.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were like um like a ceramic, not a ceramic, an aluminium bezel. Because I know the new, what is it? The new GMT that they've brought out, the Coke version.
Yeah.
That's definitely still aluminium. And I thought that aluminium bezel was part of that lineup.
No, the whole watch is ceramic. It's a complete ceramic watch in black.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yes.
And it's,
Uh,
and it's got the exhibition back on it as well.
yeah, let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about. Um,
And the shiniest ceramic bezel they do is on the Pelagos 39. It's a sunray finish on the ceramic.
yes, yeah, well, I think their bezel is, correct me if I'm wrong, their bezel is still a bit matte, but their dial is the sunburst. Is that,
No, the bezel's got a bit of sunray finish to it as well.
oh,
When I
does it?
looked at one, yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, have I seen one? Yes, actually, I have seen one. Um, this is a watch that you're talking about, yeah?
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That was their first Metas movement.
Oh, this is Meta Movement too, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Uh,
they're not a bad price on the secondary market.
yeah. Are they like? Do you get a better bargain on the secondary or?
Yeah, with a
Oh,
lot of
look.
the Tudors, with a lot of the Tudors now,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
better
Well,
off
look.
going
I mean,
secondary.
I got mine on the secondary market, and that was because when I went into Tudor to actually buy it, I thought, and the gentleman said, "Mate, we've got them in stock. We've got them in stock." And I went, "Oh, okay, no worries." Anyway, went in there, and he went, "Oh no, you've got to go on a list." I said, "I've got to go on a list." I rang up, and they said they got it in stock. He goes, "Yeah, I do, but you got to go on a list." And I went, "Oh, okay." And anyway, I went away and I found the one on the secondary in mint condition and saved myself $2,000. Just under $2,500. So I was pretty happy with that. And then he rings me about 2 weeks later and said, "I've got that watch." And I said, "Too bad, mate. I've already bought it." So yeah, I was happy with the buy, but yeah, this is a nice watch. Um, the only thing is with these black type watches, and I don't know, you know, with the ceramic, you know how like they get those sort of wear marks on the edges if they turn, like presumably, is it full ceramic? Like,
Yeah,
like
that's a
yeah.
full ceramic case. That is.
So would the color come through? Would it be white ceramic underneath, or is it black all the way through?
Should be black all the way through, I presume.
Yeah, I don't know.
But unless we cut one in half, we're never going to know, are we?
Correct,
Send money
correct.
now so we can cut a
Yes,
black plate ceramic in half.
yeah, or somebody can donate one. Look, here's one with a blue dial. I think the black dial looks better.
Oh, that's for the Italian football team. That one. Or
Oh,
no,
is it?
that's for the no, that one's for the race, the Red Bull Visa team. That one.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
like how
yeah,
they Tudor do some of these, sort of collabs. I know people didn't like the Alangi Tudor one, but I really liked it. You know,
It's
um,
horses for courses. At the end of the day, we're not all going to like the same thing. That's what makes us individual humans.
yeah, correct.
But,
Yeah. Oh, look, everyone's
but,
going to get
but
their own.
but back to the first Pelagos. You know the smiley face one. That was a ETA movement up until 2016.
Yes,
Yeah, when they
yes.
brought the Mark Twos out. And the Mark
Yeah,
II had a slightly thicker case as well
yeah. So
compared to the ETA.
so the research that I did, and when I say research, obviously just looking on YouTube, Google, blah blah blah. So, and I can't remember the figures exactly, but when they had the ETA movement, obviously it was thinner, but only by, I think it was like, I want to say 0.8 of a millimeter, right? Thinner. And then when they were in 2015-16, when they brought out the new Pelagos with the in-house movement, the watch is only half a millimeter. Like, so it's half a millimeter thicker. So they've sort of brought the watch thickness down, but the movement is thicker than the ETA movement. So they've sort of, I don't know, the movement's bigger, but the watch is thinner. It's still bigger than the ETA movement, but do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they've tried to make the watch sort of, if they kept the same proportions as before, the watch would have got thicker, and it hasn't. So I guess there was a fair bit of work put into that. But look, some people, like the ETA movement because it's, it's a solid movement, and it's
Easy to service. You can
yeah,
send it to any decent watchmaker.
yeah, yeah, and
Parts are readily available as well.
yeah, 100%. And you know, first person that actually told me this, I haven't read anything about it, but I've heard a number of people. But the first person, uh, Higgy, told me, and I've heard a couple of people say it since. If I send my watch, um, being the in-house movement, to Tudor to get serviced, they actually won't service it.
No,
You
they
pay for
replace
the
it.
service, they just replace the movement,
Yeah, that's
um,
right.
which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I'm sort of torn because what are they saying? Are they saying that it's cheaper to put the new are they just charging me, $1,000 and I'm putting a new movement in and they can't be bothered wasting the time? Or is the movement not good enough for them to pull it apart and, reassemble it and go for another 10 years? I'm not sure what Tudor are trying to say about that.
They're all achieved with it.
No doubt there's a cost value, if they're weighing up, paying the time for a watchmaker to pull it apart, service it, blah blah blah. But if I'm paying for the service, then that shouldn't matter. Um, what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to achieve by just replacing the bezel. I mean, replacing the movement, and I think it takes away that um, the luxury sort of aspect of the watch. Like, what are they trying to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
strange one.
Mate, it's strange. Like, for example, I had that. Well, I've still got it. The Seiko turtle. Now I sent that back to Seiko. Right? Um, they completely serviced the watch, as in, pulled it apart. They didn't replace the movement. Now Seiko got the time to pull it apart and put it back together. And presumably, when it's your product, you can do it quicker than probably another watchmaker that isn't working on the same movements day in, day out. Yeah, I think it's a real strange one.
Because usually servicing's only you just re-oil or re-grease the parts and change the seals. That's what,
Yeah, but I think they pull it apart a little bit, don't they? To clean, because they
yeah.
got to get the grit and you know minute bits of metal and whatever dust and So I think they've got to pull it completely, like pull it down the movement and then rebuild it, clean it and then rebuild it, oil it, all that type of stuff and put it back together. I think they, opposed to just, you know, I think it's a full rebuild, but why Tudor are just simply pulling out the movement and putting a new one in? It probably comes down to cost. Let's be honest, it probably comes down to cost. But
It means a quicker turnaround in the service time.
yeah,
That's
but look,
the only
at you,
advantage
for
I can
example.
see.
Yeah, do Tudor and Rolex really care about that? I mean, even with my Seiko, when I did my Seiko, it was a 5-month turnaround. I think people have accepted the fact that it takes a while for them to pull a watch down, apart and service it and bring it back. But like, look at you. You've got two of the Pelagosses, right?
Yep.
What's your thoughts on them replacing the entire movement opposed to pulling it apart and service it and bringing it back?
For me, I wouldn't like it because you're losing the originality of your watch.
Well, that's right. And what are they going to do in the future? Like they're supposed to be serviced 10 yearly, right? I think that's my watch, the Pelagos. In 10 years, they mightn't be making the current MT 5612, right? What are they going to do then? Are they going to put in a new movement? Well, then that takes away, like you said, the heritage, the provenance of that watch. Or let's go back a current step, right? Go back to the previous Mark 1 of the Pelagos, right, which has got the ETA movement in it, and you send it to Tudor for service. Do they put the new MT 5612 in it?
That's some questions we don't know.
These are the questions we don't know. I'd like them answered. I just don't think it's I don't know. I think it's a strange way to do business. If it was a $50 watch and they went, you know what, it's quicker and easier for us to put a new movement in and get it in and out the door, and cheaper and blah blah blah. But
Yes.
you're trying to, Tudor are trying to list themselves in the luxury brand market, and then you're going to go, well, hang on, our movement is, I don't know what their thoughts are, cheap or replaceable or whatever. We've got no time for this. We'll just put a new one in. I think long term that's going to be a poor business practice, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there are watchmakers out there that service your Tudor for you with original parts still.
Beg your pardon, can you say that again?
There are watchmakers out there that will service your watch with original Tudor parts still.
Yes, there will. Yeah, no doubt there will be. But I mean, you've got to look at a lot of the old Tudors were all ETA based movements. Those parts are readily available.
Yeah.
And if you look at, particularly, Rolex being the sister brand, and listen to people like Alex, where they're saying that, all those sort of spare parts and alike now for the independent watchmaker, they're all drying up. Unless you've got this qualification, that qualification, whatever, you can't get the parts anymore, right? Like original, Rolex parts. It's getting harder and harder, according to the bits and pieces that I've heard Alex talk about. Now, I believe there's a couple other brands who are also following that suit. Now, if all the brands are following that suit, and in recent years they're all going, or converting to in-house movements, how is that going to go for one, servicing, and two, getting parts from an independent, or for an independent watchmaker?
They're going to struggle, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but these are the questions, guys, and I want answered. These these are the questions that I don't seem to be able to justify in my head where they're going with this sort of stuff.
I think I might have to, because the service centre for Rolex and Tudor is only down the road to me. It's only like 40 minutes away.
Right.
And you can actually go directly into them to drop your watch off.
Yep.
So would it be worth going down and doing a secret gonzo and asking questions, see what answers we get?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least go down. I don't know if they'll let you gonzo, but maybe if you can ask some of those questions, I'd love to hear the insight or what it is. I mean, look, the other thing is if you just off sort of thinking about it, take away the fact that Tudor at the moment are just replacing the movement. If you look at the other brands where they're all going in house and they're restricting the parts and blah blah blah, what's that doing? That's isolating the independent
Watchmakers.
watchmaker and forcing you to go back to back to the brand, right? Now, who does that? What business does that? All right, the car business.
Yep.
All right, mate. They were they're the ones that pop into mind for me straight away. Was initially when all the car businesses and all the rest of it, happened years and years ago, and you could go to your local, car parts place, and they'd be, selling aftermarket parts that'd be, exactly the same and all the rest of it, and a third of the price. And what did they do to combat all of that? They wrote into all the warranties, around the world, depending on the laws. You've got to come back to us. You've got to come back to us. You want the part? If you put in an inferior part, voids the warranty.
Yeah.
You know,
Or buy the
so they
parts directly from the manufacturer.
yeah, right. And they were the ones that have started that business model, the car industry. Um,
And they always use, well, with the car industry, used to say, if you get a service done with the main dealer and get the main
yep,
dealer stamp, it makes your car worth more than if you got it done at an independent garage as well.
yeah, that's right. Because they're saying, we've always serviced it. It's always had, genuine parts. It's, it's the better car, in the used car market. We can guarantee that it's a good car, for the second car market. But at the end of the day, they're not interested in the second car market. They're interested in the parts, the supply of parts and the servicing, because once you pay your X amount of dollars for your car, that's done and dusted. And people aren't buying cars every year, but what are they doing every year? They've got to replace parts and they've got to have the car serviced.
Yeah,
So,
it's all designed to break, aren't they?
well, yeah, but that's their
Anything
business
now,
model.
look at your white goods. They don't last as long as what they used to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like their business model is slightly different. They're putting a lifespan on your white goods so that you go out and just buy a new white good because it's not worth fixing. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
way they make them now, that by the time you get a tradesman to turn up and then get the parts and he's got to come back and blah blah blah, it's just quicker to go and buy a new one. It's a throwaway society.
Or they send their own people out to do the repairs
Yeah, that's right.
with their
And
own part, with their original parts.
yep.
As you say, it's isolating and making the independent person not worth working anymore. Making them
Well, I mean,
indispensable.
yeah, well, that's what they're all trying to stamp out is the independent. Doesn't matter what the market is, if it's watchmaking, cars, whatever. They want to stamp out all these independents, and completely dominate the market, I guess, in
Yeah.
both, you know, at the point of sale and after service and parts, because they realise that there's a huge industry in and it's the same with the watches. Once you buy that watch, what's the brand getting out of it? It's the servicing part, right? So now they make all the in-house, movements, and you've got to come back to them for a service. And that's another form of revenue for them, opposed to when they had all the ETA and you could go to an independent watchmaker.
Yeah, it's like
So
with all the old Tudors, they was all Rolex case backs, Rolex bracelets. and it was
Yeah.
only the Tudor dial and movement that was ETA.
Yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? So now they've changed over to the in-house, and you know who's going to service it? Well, technically Tudor. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
look, you get a decent watchmaker, like Alex. You know, he'll probably open something like that up and be able to service it anyway, right? Because clearly there's a lot of skill involved. But they want their business model is they want you to come back to them, right? And they can grab another $1,000 out of your pocket for them to service it. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, back to the original plot. I just find it funny that they're not even servicing it; that they're just fully replacing it. It's crazy. I don't get it.
I heard one story about it's because of a lack of watchmakers. It's easier to have people that can just literally take the movement out, put a new movement in. Do you keep your original dial on hands with it, or do they put a complete new set of
Uh,
dials, set of hands and dials in?
well, to my knowledge, it's the same as when you used to get it serviced. So if you said, you know, like they wouldn't replace the hands and dials for no reason. If you said, I want, or there was damage to the dial or to the hands or whatever, and you don't say anything and you say, I want a full service, I think they then replace those. All right. But if you say, when you go in and you say, I don't want you to change anything, I don't want it polished, I don't want this, all I want is blah, then they just do that part. You know what I mean? Like I watched a video the other day with Adrian Barker from Barker and Jack, or
Yeah, I
Barker
watched
Jack.
that one.
Did you watch the one where he was talking about his Explorer 2 getting serviced?
Yeah, because he smashed the crystal, didn't they?
Right. Yeah, yeah. So they wanted to replace the dial, right? As in they being Rolex. They wanted to replace the dial because after all the glass had come out, it actually scratched the dial. Right? And they said, we'll replace the dial. He said, no, I don't want the dial replaced. He likes the character of it. It shows, what had happened. And the only way that Rolex would have sort of pushed the point to that would have been if the dial interfered with the operations of the watch, right? So say if, let's say, just for argument's sake, it was flaking, the paint was flaking and it'd go into the movement, then they would insist that the dial get changed. But, whilst you go and when you get it serviced and you say, I don't want it polished, I don't want this changed, I want the original whatever. Look at I think it's, and again, I stand corrected if anybody knows, I think it's the same with the tritium dial, right? If you take that in and say, I want it serviced and don't say anything, I believe they go to take the tritium out of it for the safety aspect. You've got to say, don't
You
touch my
want it left
dial.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't say anything, I think Rolex automatically change it. I stand to be corrected, but that's my sort of understanding of what Rolex do in relation to their servicing. I don't think other brands are so strict on that sort of stuff, but I think Rolex are. But then again, I watched another video, right, where it sort of said, there was Rolex watches at certain times, and they'd run a batch, and then run the next batch, and the hands might be from the previous model and whatever. They didn't always, back in the, not like now, where if they bring out a new watch, that from that date, the watch is exactly the same. In the past, if they had leftover hands from the previous model, the first lot would get the previous hands, and they've since, sort of become collector's items. Those sort of watches.
Yeah. It's like Adrian Barker had one about an Explorer 1 that had a defected dial, and Rolex wanted to change the dial out on it, and the dial was
Right.
worth It's quite a bit of money. I don't know exactly how much.
Yeah, because it's a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like coins and notes. I think when when the mint makes an error
Mr. Yeah,
and it gets through the quality control, somebody's missed it, and they're the ones that in future years become collector's items. There's that other bloke. What do I watch his name? Sorry, I watch his channel. Um, I think it's called Watching Timepieces with Tony or something. I think he's a musician. Have you ever seen him?
no.
He's an American dude living in Hollywood, and he buys a lot of different watches. And his sister is he's a sort of he's right into Rolex, but he also likes Patek and he likes Zenith and all that sort of stuff. But his sister apparently is a mad Omega fan, and he did a video 6+ months ago where his sister bought an Omega. Oh, sorry, she bought a Rolex, and there was something I can't even remember now. There was something wrong with the dial, and she was like, "Oh, should I take it back?" Because before she spoke to him, she must have spoke to the AD, or wanted to get it serviced because she bought it secondhand. About replacing the dial, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll replace the dial, no problem." And he went, "Don't replace the dial." You know what I mean? He said it's probably a one of one. Don't replace that dial, and make strict instructions to them if you want to get it serviced, that they're not to touch the dial. So look, even Rolex have allowed some of these anomalies to jump out. Either on purpose or not on purpose. Over the years, you watch different things. Have you ever watched that? Just on the same sort of vein, what's his name? Austin Daniels. You ever watch Austin Daniels?
Yeah, I've caught a couple of his videos.
Basically, in this conversation, what I'm realizing is I watch too much YouTube. But anyway, he was discussing the different types of sea dweller and how you can tell from the Mark 1 to the Mark 4, essentially. And there was, I think, I can't remember now, but I want to say between the Mark 2 and the Mark 3, he said the way that you can tell is where the crown is on the dial. The crown is printed slightly different. I don't know what you want to call it, the balls at the top of the crown, they're different sizes. So, over the years, Rolex have allowed, I guess their quality control is far better now, but over the years, their quality control was probably, a little bit lacking as they've improved over the years.
It's a bit like with the paint technology on the dials. Obviously, you used to get back in the day the ones that turned brown that went tropical.
Yeah, the
With the
patina.
UV fading.
Yep.
With the subs.
Well, that's just technology, isn't
GMTs.
it?
Yeah.
Like as they make new models and they come out with new materials and look even with our Pelagos, I don't really know of another matte finish ceramic bezel. All ceramic bezels have generally been shiny. I don't know if that was either through styling or through technology, but as technology gets better, these watches are only going to get better.
It's like Tudor's always been the test bed for Rolex, hasn't it? In the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I keep mentioning, I've got to stop mentioning this Pelagos. But 100% the Pelagos in relation to the titanium was a test measure for Rolex.
Same with the LHD, because obviously I got an LHD Pelagos, and then the LHD GMT came out, didn't it?
So did the left-hand drive Pelagos come out before the left-hand drive GMT did it?
Yeah, GMT come out in 22, and the Pelagos come out in 2000 and is it 16 or 17?
Oh, I didn't realize it was that old. I thought the left-hand drive came out in 20, but I didn't realise that the left-hand drive. So the left-hand drive came out at the same time as the new Pelagos, the Mark II, did it?
Yeah, or maybe a year after, I think, 2017. Because mine's a 2019 I've got, my left-hand drive.
Yep. Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, Archie Luxury, Pelagos. I am Archie Luxury, and I approve this message. Presumably, I'm going to say that's Luxy. Hey, Luxy, how you going, mate? Thanks for the support, mate. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support you did today. Going a bit longer and being able to send some people across. I really appreciate it, mate. If you're bored, I'll drop the link again. And for anybody else, they want to jump on and join me in Skyzen, you're more than welcome. Mine's a December 2022 model, but when they brought out the new Mark II, I didn't realise they brought out the left-hand drive at the same time. So that's interesting.
Yeah, because the blue, I think it was the blue one. They didn't release the blue one at the same time, did they, with the Mark II? I think that was a year later, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that came later. Yeah. I think initially it was the black. And I want to say that the blue came out the following year.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, that back left-hand drive 2018 then, I think.
Oh, okay, right, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, well, that probably makes sense. Each year they'd bring it out. So
Do you think they're going to do a revamp on the Pelagos to like Metas?
I think that the Tudor will eventually, at some point, start going to the Metas, like each new watch. Like I think they're trying to go into that market. Rolex don't, in my opinion, Rolex don't need the Metas.
No, because their accuracy -2 to +2 with their super.
Yeah, but it's a marketing tool, that Metas thing, right? So, everyone knows that Rolex is a good watch, right? Nobody's going to question that it's not a good watch. But where with the Tudor, I think they want to say, look, this is our new house, our in-house movement. It's good, and we're going to show you it's good because it's got a Metas, approval to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what I think that's what they're trying to do. Patel, not Lux. Laugh out loud. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Patel. I think that's why they're going into that Metas, approval, and more of their watches are going to end up Metas approved. Again, because they're trying to fill that space, in my opinion, to where Omega is. And I'm not saying that they're trying to, be Omega. I think Omega are trying to move up to that next step. So they're trying to fill that void.
They're all trying to jump up a level, aren't they?
Yeah.
Omega's trying to catch up with Rolex, and obviously Tudor's trying to jump on the Omega.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a business strategy.
Because a lot of people thought that Metas was only to do with Omega originally, didn't they?
Well, because it's synonymous with them, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they're actually an independent sort of, they're like Cost, right? They're in it space, they're independent, and they put your movement through it and says, yep, it's good in the watch. It's cased, so they're not doing the movement on its own. They're testing it, the movement cased in the watch.
Yeah, they test the waterproof and they test the magnetic field as well with Metas.
Yeah, I think there's 10 different. I think they do it. Like there's 10 different sort of categories, and I think they do it. Extreme cold, extreme heat. Different directions, water, dust. All this sort of stuff. I'd have to look into it, but I think there's 10 criterias, and Tudor Tudor are trying to validate their new in-house movement. This what do they call it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Not sneaky.
Kinesi.
Kinesi. Thank you. The Kinesi movement, and by getting a MEDAS certification, it shows that it's a good movement, and that's a marketing ploy, in my opinion. And that's why they're doing it. You know what I mean? And I think they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, because when Adrian Barker done, when he went round the new factory and he was speaking to their CEO, and he was saying eventually all the Tudors are going to swap over, but it's not going to be done in one hit. They're going to do a couple of models every year. Like they've done it with the original Black Bay, didn't they? With the red bezel first was the second Matet. Then this year was the GMT 58, wasn't it? They took to Metas.
And I think, is it the monochrome as well?
Yeah, that's the same as the burgundy bezels. They just got rid of the gilt and obviously went monochrome with it.
So that's the Kinesi movement that now that they're certifying as MEDAS. And again, it's a marketing point, to say, look at our movements, they're good. You know what I mean? And I think they'll continue to do it. I think it, probably in the near future. Next year is what the 10th. I think our Mark IIs came out in 2015. I think they maybe next year they might, bring out a MEDA certified, Pelagos. Maybe tweak it a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, because I've heard about people talking about they want a GMT Pelagos. They'd like a GMT Pelagos.
Yep. Well, I can't see why they wouldn't do it, because they've done a chrono, they've done the date, they've done the non-date, they've had collaborations with different brands. The only thing really left to do with the Pelagos is to bring out a GMT. But it won't be the 500. The 500.
No, it'll be in the 200 case.
Yep. I think it'll be
like
the two.
Yeah, like the 39 or the FXD case.
Yeah. Well, if you're traveling with a GMT, I think they'll do the 200 meters water resistant, slim down the case so that it's not as thick as the 500, and get rid of the helium and gas valve, and that's where they'll end up. But I can't see why they wouldn't. I'd like to see it, to be honest. Why not?
But if I do a Metas one, I'm not going to rush out and get a Metas Pelagos. My ones are good enough for now.
Look, I agree. Like, for me, I wouldn't rush out and buy another one. But for the person that's buying their first one, it just gives it a bit more.
It's a good upgrade.
Yeah,
good marketing upgrade.
Yeah, it's an upgrade. It's a bit of I don't know, marketing kudos for them to say, look, our movements are good. They're MEDA certified. Look, come and buy it. No doubt there'll be a little bit of a price whack for it, which is always good for their back pocket. But I think Tudor as a brand will do what Omega do and make a large quantity of their watches MEDA certified. And it's a good little gimmick too. I've got a mate that's got an Omega Seamaster, and it comes with a MEDAS card in it, right? And you can go on the website and you type in whatever's on the card, and it'll actually show you the full report, when they did it, how your watch performed, like your exact watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time of testing. That's a good little gimmick. I wouldn't mind something like that on my watch, where you could go on and go, look, that's my watch. That's what happened.
That's what Roman done the other. Did you see his video that he done about the NSC readers? and talking about the chips.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Rolex are patented a chip.
Yep,
It's not. Everyone was going, oh, it's going to be in the watch, but obviously it's not. So they're going to bring a new style card out
yep,
where you can scan the card. You can do it with their newer cards. You can scan their cards,
right.
and it takes you through to their bits on the website.
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
I read an ad about that, but that's more in relation to stopping counterfeiting and showing the provenance and history of your watch. I believe, is that not correct?
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah. Um, you know, yeah. I guess. Look, these counterfeiters, they're too smart for me, but I'm sure somebody's going to find some way around that sort of stuff. I mean, even if you get an original card and you get a fake watch, how are you going to prove that?
you can't, can you?
Well, I guess smarter people than you and I probably can, but mate, there'll be ways around it. You watch. Um, these counterfeiters are always one step ahead. Paul Pluta, my Gumtree ad is picking up steam. I don't think it is. I actually saw it on Gumtree in Australia because obviously I live here. I actually saw the ad. I don't know who's going to buy that for 18.4. My God, I don't even think he paid 18.4. So he's not only thinking that he's not thinking that he's going to get his money back. He wants more money for it, and I think the watch market's going the other way. So, not that I'm a big JLC fan.
I was
It's
watching a video yesterday, and I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that the sports steels are starting to lose money now, gone down by 7%,
yeah.
and precious metals are starting to pick up again.
Oh, okay. I thought.
So,
Well, look. In general, the market is slowing. And you got to remember these figures are all based on the last couple of years, which we all know that the market went crazy. So
yeah,
I think
got
I think these figures where it's dropped 7%, it's dropped X amount. I don't think they're accurate, as in a comparison level. If I was a commerce sort of bloke, I would take out from 20 to 23 or whatever it is, and compare your sales figures and your numbers back to that 2018, 2019 when things were normal, and compare yourself against those numbers, because
obviously
COVID.
exploded from 2020 to 22, didn't it?
Yeah, it
Before it
just went
started
nuts.
to tail off again.
Yeah, just and they're just not comparable figures. If you compared your figures for that those times, none of your figures are going to be looking any good. I don't think. You
No,
know what I mean?
everything was inflated, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Like even back 2019, if you wanted to go in and buy a Rolex, you know, yes, there was a wait time for some watches, but not necessarily all watches. Um, nobody was really waiting when you went in and asked for an Oyster Perpetual, and they'd go, "Oh, come back in 3 years." You
Or
know,
day date.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I think that 20, 20, 21, 22, even slightly into 23, I wouldn't be comparing any of my figures if I was a watch company to any of that time, because look, they probably made a pack of money out of it. Good luck to them. But those figures aren't any good for future business sort of acumen. Um, I think they're going to have to reset and work out their figures now and see where they're going to go.
But Tudor, though, with the Submariner in
Yeah.
the 80s, they went back to round loom plots and the Mercedes hands on the last couple of models. The 79010, I think it is.
Yeah. Well, that's when they were still using excess
Yeah, they come
excess
away
Rollex
from snow.
parts.
Yeah, they come away from Snowflake.
Yeah, because they were just using the excess parts. They didn't want to spend the money on Tudor. In going out to make, like the tooling and all the rest of it. So they just went, we've got these extra cases, or we can produce these because we've already got the machine set up. Because you got to remember, back then they didn't have as many. They were working out of the Rolex factory. It's not like now where they've Tudor have got their own factory.
Because the
They're
Snowflake dial started in '68 and
Yep.
run through to mid '80s, and then they went back to the round loom plots again and
Yeah.
stopped doing Snowflake dials and Snowflake
Yeah.
hands.
I'd say it would have had something to do with the changing the machinery and whatever, because they'd be updating all that machinery, and they'd probably update the machinery and go, look, it's going to take production value down too much to stop, reconfigure the machines and keep going. You know what I mean?
And they still had acrylic crystals as well, where Rolex had gone to the sapphire crystals by then on the subs.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't keep them exactly the same because, again, they had to sell it as a lesser product. But look, ever since 2012, I think Tudor have really tried to make their own, or go in their own direction. Even with the Black Bay and all the rest of it, they've really, look at this year, for example. This year was supposed to be, I want to say, the 70th anniversary year of the Tudor Submariner,
Yeah,
and they brought out the monochrome and never, refused to use the Submariner name.
yeah,
They'll never use the Submariner name again, and
no.
and Tudor will be, not, none of that stuff will ever happen again.
That's why the Black Bay 54 was brought out, was obviously for the anniversary.
Yep.
And that's still got the Snowflake dial on it, even though it went back to did it go back to a lollipop hand on the 54?
Um,
For the second hand. The second hand, did that go back to lollipop then?
I am not sure. Let me have a quick look for you.
And obviously they went back to the
Yeah.
original case size of 37.
Yeah. So it went back to the lollipop hand. And yeah, it's a 37 diameter. Yep.
I
But
looked at one of them and compared to my Pelagos, and it looked so small.
well, it looks small, as you compare it, but you get used to any size. I think, like, even my my turtle, which is, I think it's 44, 43, 44, and the cushion case doesn't help. I'd put on, I tried on the Rolex Submariner, and I was like, how small is this? And it's a 41. Do you know what I mean? But you soon get used to whatever's on your wrist, I think.
But then a sub feels small compared to the Pelagos 42, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So, but you take away the Pelagos 42 and start wearing a 37, 38 millimeter watch.
You get used to it within a
You
couple
wear
of days,
that for
don't
a
you?
while. Yeah, you wear that, and then go and try on the 41 millimeter sub, and you'll go, oh, this is a bigger dial. You know what I mean? So it's all what you get used to. But yeah, I definitely think that the Tudor have to strive forward. That METAS movement or certification is part of their marketing strategy and moving forward. But they
Oh, yeah, I like the heritage chronograph, which is
Mhm.
obviously originally their Monte Carlo one they done in the 70s. They re-brought it back. Was it in 2012? And then discontinued it. Was it last year they discontinued the Heritage chronograph?
Yeah, I think maybe even the year before. I think maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was ETA as well, wasn't it?
Yes. Look, even their current lineup of the Black Bay, just the normal no date sports watch they've got. That's still ETA.
I thought the new ones they brought out went to the new movement.
Did it?
Yeah, yeah. You talk about the Black Bay Smooth dial.
Yes.
Yeah, the old ones were ETA with a smiley face, and then they brought a new one out with the Jubilee on it last year, I think.
Let me try to have a look for you. So,
But I think it's only the Royals now that has still got ETA in them, and the is it the
yeah, the Royal.
1926?
Yes. Isn't the 1926? I want to say is quartz. Is that not right?
No, it's automatic, but it's ETA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here it is. Here. Black Bay 31, 36, 39, 41. I'll just click on anyone. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, they got the 5602. Yeah, they got the in-house movement. MT 5602. So yeah, but I mean they were ETA movements as well. So
Yeah,
I mean and they'll end up meta certified as well. These new 5602s. But like I said earlier, Tudor got to stop looking at their back catalogue and they've got to look forward and make new watches. In my opinion, if they want longevity, you can't just keep going back to, your back catalogue. You're gonna. It's all right, to have a couple of watches like that, but at some point you got to look forward and go and move and innovate. Because if you don't, I don't care what business you are. If you don't go forward and innovate, mate, your business is gone. There's probably a few exceptions to the rule, but I'd say that that's probably consistent with most businesses.
then they got their
JB, hey fellas. Hey JB, how you going, mate?
JD.
How's things, mate? Oh, there's Luxy Poo. Luxy, how you going, mate? Yeah, sorry, what were you saying before I interrupted?
The Pelagos is their only real new modern watch that they've done.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what I'm saying. I think that they've got to, innovate and they've got to move forward. They can't keep relying on the Black Bay range, and expect that they're going to continue or maintain their sales levels. At some point, the community will get
Bored with it.
will get bored of it. They're going to have to come out with something new, and it's pointless. Going back to their past catalogs. There's only so long that you can do that for, and let's be honest, they've probably done it at least for the last 15 years. It's going to start getting long in the tooth pretty quick, I reckon. But
then Longines do a lot of back catalogue stuff as well, don't they? Keep reinterpreting.
But they've got a lot bigger history and a variety of watches for that. Do you know what I mean? And they also, Longines will also bring out a new watch, every couple of years. Where Tudor, if you really look at it, apart from the Pelagos, their entire catalogue is, sort of
reinterpretations.
yeah. I mean, you could probably put the Chrono in the Pelagos where they've sort of moved forward. I mean, you can see where, quite well where they got their inspiration from. But, again, just in my opinion, they're going to be forced to go forward. They're going to be forced to create a completely new watch.
Yeah, because when you look at the Black Bay umbrella, you got the
Yep.
Chrono, the GMT, the 58s, the smooth bezel ones. There's
Yep.
a lot in there, the umbrella of Black Bay, isn't there? Which they're slowly
Well,
starting to do with, obviously, Pelagos as well.
yeah, but even with their Black Bay /58/54/heritage/ mate, get a new name. You know what I mean? Like, find a new name. Pay some marketing millionaires, and stop calling everything a Black Bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, how many people, me included, when you start talking about Black Bay and Black Bay 58 and Heritage and
It just
Black
starts
Bay,
diluting the actual name, doesn't it?
yeah.
Black
I
Bay.
mean, it's just, Black Bay Chrono, Black Bay 58, Black Bay,
Black Bay GMT.
yeah. Like, just bring out, why don't you just call it the Tudor GMT or the Tudor, Chrono? Because it's pointless calling it Black Bay. Every watch is called Black Bay. If you really look at it, they've probably got like 3 watches. The Royal, I think even the Royal's a Black Bay, isn't it?
No, the Royals come from the day. Because Tudor called, instead of a day, they called their one the date.
Yeah, but isn't it a Black Bay Royal?
Yeah, then it changed to the Royal.
Yeah. Oh, so it's now only called Royal, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to get away from calling everything a Black Bay. JB, I think Tudor has turned up their brand cachet twofold in the last 2 years. What does the panel think? Yes and no. I think they've made some improvements, obviously, with the movements that we were talking about earlier. But some of their designs that they just keep resting on their back catalogue, and it's just not going to work. That's my
They need some
opinion.
design innovation, I think.
Yeah, and a bit of diversity. Like, call it something different. Don't bring out a new watch. Call it a Black Bay, please. But yeah, I guess Tudor are going to do it. Look, I don't expect Tudor to move quickly. They're not going to be a reactive brand. They're gonna follow that Rolex mantra of moving things slow. But at some point in the near distant future, they've got to innovate. They've got to keep diversifying. They've got to keep innovating, because otherwise people will just, I don't know, they'll get bored of it.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if they bring out a tri-compacts chronograph. Because at the moment, they only do bi-compacts, don't they? With the subdials.
Yeah, but I like that. I really like that chrono.
Because the one they brought out, the one they brought out for their only watch, that was really nice. The gold one with the tri-compact.
Yes. Yeah, that was nice. And you can see where they're getting their marketing,
But that goes back to an old Tudor Prince chrono, doesn't it?
Oh, does it? I didn't know.
Yeah, from the 70s.
No. Patrick B, I'm always confused on the Black Bay. How many there are? I'm with you, Patrick. 100%. I'm with you. Thank God that when I was looking at watches, I was looking at the Pelagos, and it wasn't called a Black Bay, because otherwise I would have been highly confused. JB. Scratchy, yep, time, start diversifying. Yeah, I agree, JB. What's Luxy saying? Oh, Luxy poo. What about the Black Shield? I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
that's
he's
a
talking
kind of
about.
yeah, the Tudor Black Shield. They done a fast rider as well. They were chronographs from the 80s.
I don't know it. Yeah, look, I know a lot of the Tudor modern ones, but you know, what was it called? The Tudor. It's not the Aquanaut. What was it called? And then they brought out one, and then brought out two, and they did a Tiger one. What was it called? Let me have a look. Maybe somebody in the chat could let us know. Tudor Diver Tiger, because they did a Tiger version with Tiger Woods. The Tudor Tiger Prince. That's not what I'm talking about. It is the Tiger Prince, but it was called something else. So I'm just trying to have a look at it.
I'm trying to think of the Aqua one it was called.
Yeah, Hydronaut, Tudor
That's
Hydronaut,
it.
which was a complete failure for Tudor. But based on what I've seen, I've never held one. But I've watched a couple of videos on it actually this week, and I actually watched a video about it that Archie did, which was a really good video. If anybody wants to go back and have a look, how Archie was comparing the Rolex sub to the Tudor Hydronaut. He did a great job. He really compared it quite well. If anybody's got 5 minutes to spare, go back and watch that one that Archie did, years ago. I want to say 2014, 15, something like that. Maybe
Can you
earlier.
pull up Lux? Can you pull up Lux's one, the Black Shield?
Yeah. Well, give me a go. Black Shield. Let me see. Is this the one? Let me just pull it up. Is that it?
If you're in the chat, let us know, Luxy.
So that's the fast rider. It says fast rider.
Yeah, they do one in red and black.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get that up on the. Here it comes. That one. Oh, I mean that's quite nice, different.
They're not a bad price in the UK. You can pick them up for about £2.5 to £3.5 grand.
Oh, okay. Pound, yeah.
Yeah, obviously it'd be a bit more with the Aussie dollars.
With our our rubbish one, it's everything's a bit more, but yeah, it looks like a nice watch, and it's the Tri Chrono. Looks like a nice watch. I'm not into the black watches, and only because and I've heard Higgy talk about it. Like on the ends where you see this, the steel come through underneath and stuff.
Yeah, the PVD coating starts to wear away.
Yeah. I'm not into that at all. To me, it just makes the watch look. You can handle scratches, right? Like you can see scratches and all that sort of stuff. But once you start seeing the metal coming through, to me, that's I couldn't live with it. It'd drive me nuts. You know what I mean?
Could they bring that out in ceramic, like the fast rider?
Yeah, I guess of course they could. Yeah, why couldn't they? But again, it takes away that, their motto is, what is it? Dare to be different, or something similar.
Dare to
Um,
win. Dare to
Dare to
win, I
win,
think.
mate. Well, dare yourselves, back yourselves, and bring out some new watches. Stop going back. I know there's they don't have to always go back to the catalog. I would just like to see them. Um,
It's a bit
you
like
know,
Porsche with their 911.
yeah, yeah, but see, they're making that line, sort of doing that, but they're also making other Porsches where they are being different. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
Like
you
she
look at
said,
the 911. It hasn't changed much, really, has it, in 60 years?
yeah, but they make a whole range of cars. You know what I mean? Where these guys just keep pushing back, to their back catalogue.
But then
Like he says,
Rolex stick to that formula as well, don't they? Just keep innovating slightly, changing the design so it still looks like its original design.
yeah, but they're still, even if ever so slowly, right? We all agree on that. It's they still go forward. There you go, Lux. It says it's a mono block case in matte black ceramic. So yeah, it must be ceramic, that watch. So presuming if it's all ceramic, it's all black, and you wouldn't get those,
Scratches
scratches or
and
color
mark
coming through.
fading.
Yeah. So, I mean, in that case, it would be okay for me. I just wouldn't want to see the that coming through. So, what's now the Tudor is sponsoring F1 team Alpha Tauri. Perhaps it will see something new. Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, look. Don't get me wrong. I like the brand. I like everything about it. I just would like to see them go more forward than backward. Um, Here we go, Jade Grey. You can be blue. Everybody's blue. Yeah, I guess that's the main point that I just wanted to push was, you know, although they make a good watch and all that sort of stuff, all the stuff that we've spoken about, I just want to see them, uh, go forward, and create something new. So hopefully with the new sponsorship with F1, they do that, and they don't do the whole Alingi thing where they just pull out a Pelagos or pull out a Black Bay and, make a
They
special
have done
edition.
that new
Yeah,
Red Bull Visa one. You know, the one you brought up earlier with the blue dial ceramic.
yep.
That is the what official watch for the Red Bull team.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want to see them make a new watch for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, make a completely new watch, and do something, new. I don't think we're asking for much. You know, I
But then
realise it'll take.
they've done a quick turnaround with the Pelagos 39 because everyone was asking for it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that
but
came out
again,
pretty quick.
yeah, but all they did is got the existing design and tweaked it, right? They just made it smaller,
Yeah, but
right?
that's what everyone was asking for. Was a smaller
Yeah.
Pelagos, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look, that I accept, right? Because it's a current watch, and people wanted a different size, and they tweaked it and answered the consumer to give them a smaller size. That I've got no problem with. Um, the problem that I've got is just, like with the Black Bay, half the line is, reinterpretation of their entire back catalogue. You know, there's only so much heritage, for me anyway, I can swallow. Go forward, go forth, son. Be innovative, create.
Innovate, don't imitate, as they
You
say.
know what are these designers in these $1 billion companies doing for 360 days of the year? I mean, you want to be a designer at Rolex because you're earning big money, and the biggest thing that you're doing for the year is changing a dial color, right? Or you know what? Let's put a green bezel on the Submariner. Yeah. Right? That took 10 minutes. Right? What are we doing for the other 365 days a year that we're getting paid billions of dollars, millions of dollars for? And I don't get me wrong, I'm not naive. I understand why Rolex do it, but Tudor, you know, need to move faster.
Be
Especially if they
more
want.
experimental.
Yeah, and well, they just don't have the brand cachet, like it or lump it, that Rolex do.
Especially with a gold one, because that's like 27 grand in the UK, and it's
Yeah,
only 34 grand for a full gold sub. So
yeah, and if you've got £27,000, it's not a big leap to go to the Rolex full gold sub, which is a iconic watch in full gold.
and on the
I know.
secondary, you can pick up Rolex for 27 grand in the UK.
Yeah,
The white gold ones, you're looking at 30 for the yellow gold bluesy or the black one.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, look, why you would spend that amount of money on a gold Tudor? I don't see the value in it whatsoever. And 100%. I mean, it's a brand new watch, and there's probably not many of them in the secondary, but I reckon, you're going to lose a fair bit of value out of that watch. And I know, like for me, I don't buy watches for value or whatever. I assume that once I buy a watch, it's worthless. Um, as in, when I say worthless, I mean in money value, right? Because I don't resell watches. Yeah, but
look at the previous gold one they done without the bracelet. That tanks big time on the
yeah.
secondary market.
Well, you look at those two watches together. The difference is the bracelet, and therefore what they're saying to you is we're paying 17,000. Actually, I think it was. I looked at it, it was in American dollars. It was 17,000 American dollars
For a
for
solid
the
gold
bracelet.
bracelet.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, mate. That's a lot of moolah. So um, yeah, I think they overstepped the mark with that one, and they needed to make it either like cheaper. But again, even with that, that's the Rolex mantra of, we'll just tweak it and we'll tweak it and we'll tweak it. Look back in 2012, whoever was working for Tudor at that point said, "Hey, we need to make a new watch. Let's make a Pelagos." Right? And unfortunately, 12 years down the track, they need to do it again. They don't have to come out with a whole, 5 watches. Bring out one new watch. One new watch that you're prepared to, you can tweak over the next 10 years. But bring out one new watch. Don't go to the back catalogue.
Even the Ranger was a copy of the Explorer 1, wasn't it?
Well, their entire range has been sort of, apart from a couple of exceptions, all gone back. You know what I mean? And the
And the
range is
problem with
based
the
on the
Ranger is
Explorer.
the hour hand looks like a butt plug, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know what, though?
Once you see that,
I
you
don't.
can't unsee it, can you?
Yeah. But having said that, I don't mind the Ranger. I think it's a underrated watch. What's Luxy say? Luxy says, that's why I'm not keen on Rolex. I want more innovation. Yeah, but like for Rolex, the argument differs. I can't use the same argument for Rolex. It's a completely. I know they're under the same umbrella, but they're completely different brands, and I can understand why Rolex just tweak and tweak and tweak. But they have a more diverse watch collection too. That they keep tweaking, and they're on winning formulas with those. They've had different watches over the years that have failed. They've got rid of them, and they're keeping the ones that work, and then just keep tweaking them. But Tudor aren't there yet. You know, Tudor's got to bring out the new watch, and you know, once they bring out those ones that people love, then they can, you know, tweak and tweak and tweak. But look, it's just my personal opinion. I just like to see them to innovate and grow and go forward because I like the brand. Lux, you need at least one Rolex, man. Nothing like having it for some daily stuff. Oh, look, I agree, Tan. Even though I've got the Pelagos, I really want the Submariner, and just in the steel, because it just becomes. Look, it's hard for me to justify anyway, but it just becomes completely unjustifiable for me to get the gold and bicolors and all that sort of stuff. So, but that's what I'm saving for next. You know what I mean? And hopefully in a couple of years I'll be able to afford it. But a little bit. If you don't start saving, you never get there. So
Exactly.
that's where I am. Patel Philippe. Tudor is fine as well. One or the other. Yeah. What's this from Patrick? Luxie, I hear you, but they just keep refining their core. Well, yeah, I mean, but they're not so much refining their core. They are, but they just keep looking to the back catalogue. I know they aren't changing one of the big pictures, but they have innovated materials, bracelets, movements, light years ahead of the old ones. Well, that's true. They are sort of moving forward with materials, but their range is not, sort of going forward. And that's the criticism that I guess that I'm trying to make. Unseen report, Patrick B, you're right, they do keep improving. Just more crazy, edgy stuff. I just like more crazy, edgy stuff. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit in the Lux camp. I just want to see them create a new, complete watch. So, yeah. What about you, Skyzen? You happy with them to make a complete new watch?
Definitely. They need to definitely have other models.
Yeah. And
Otherwise,
like
you
you
get
look,
otherwise you get stagnated in the market. There's only, as you say, there's only so long the Black Bay can last
yeah, that's
with
right.
all their
Like,
different models.
there's only so many colors you can make, and and it's as much as you can say it's a good watch, and it's not Rolex. Okay, so by tweaking the colors and tweaking this and tweaking that, to a certain degree, certain people will buy it, but the greater market will get tired of it. I mean, you're already here now when they bring out, they brought out the monochrome this year. There was a fair bit of criticism around just changing the colors. Essentially they're saying they change the colors, it's the same watch. So those sort of drums are already starting to beat, and I think Tudor's got to listen because those drums are only going to get louder.
Have you seen the new Breitlings they've brought out? The chrono annual calendars.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they've
I haven't.
brought out three new models for their anniversary. One of them's a Navitimer.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think what the other two. And they are silly money for a Breitling.
let me see if I can have a quick look. I'm just trying to have a look for it now. Um, what what were they? What were they? I saw them bring out that new rainbow because I saw that Watches of Switzerland.
Yeah, it's a grand complication. Tudor chronograph
Oh,
with perpetual calendar, or is it an annual calendar?
let me see. I'm still trying to look. The new Chronomat BO41s. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure on the model numbers.
All
I
right, let me
watched the
just.
video the other day about them. Unless you're a real serious Breitling fan,
Yeah, I'm not.
you're going to
I like.
take a big bath on them.
Yeah, I do like some of the Breitlings. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not. I couldn't tell you their range. Is this the watch that you're talking about?
No, they're in solid gold, rose gold.
Right, Premier, new Premier Heritage. Let's have a look at these. Are these it?
No,
Nope.
Try
Oh, some of these look good.
the new anniversary watch.
Let's go onto their website. Let's have a look at Breitling and watches. Presumably, well, yeah. What's that there? Is that it? Can you see that one?
Yeah, they've done 3 models. One was the Navitimer, one was a
Australian. Oh, look at that. Australian limited edition. That's a nice dial.
nice aqua blue.
Hmm. Straps, blah blah blah. No, I don't know.
Yes, the 140th anniversary watch they brought out.
They got here 140
There,
anniversary.
there they are. They're the ones.
Oh, these are the ones.
Yeah.
Look, to me, just I'm looking at the pictures. They look nice. I like this Navitimer.
Yeah, the Navitimer's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a look at Discover. There's a lot going on though.
They're busy dials, aren't they?
They're very busy. And
Yeah, perpetual calendar.
yeah, with that sort of movement
Chronograph.
too, I bet you they're not cheap.
Nah, we get round to that part.
Yeah. That looks nice, the Navitimer though. I do
Yeah,
like
it's got
that.
the moon face. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Premier.
that looks bulky. Caliber. Let's see if they'll. Yeah, let's have a look at. I like the Navitimer. Let's see if they'll. Oh Jesus! Look at that. $82,290, including tax, for this watch in Australia.
So you're looking at about 50, 60 grand in the UK?
Generally it's about half. So probably 41,000, 42,000 pound. Look, don't get me wrong, it looks like a lovely watch, but a lot of money. And if you're going to pay
I wouldn't fancy taking.
that sort of money,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
You've
mean,
got to be a real fanboy.
yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, look, it's that B01. That's a good movement, but look, it's a pretty watch. I like it. I think it's nice, and I bet you it looks nicer in person. But that sort of money, that's out of my league.
So what about
And
Tudor coming out with a perpetual calendar? Can you see him doing a grand complication?
nah, not at this stage. I couldn't see him doing it. I think they're trying to stick to a lot of their sports range, and that seems to be their marketing. Look, this thing's the same price. They must be the same price, these watches.
That's a busy dial.
It's a very busy dial. I like the skeleton works part. Let's go back and have a look at the third one. Oh, what happened there? Is this the same watch?
What one's that one? That's the Premier one, and the other one's based on their diver watch, I think.
Yeah, so that's the Premier one. Right. That's the Navi timer. And that's the Super Chronomat. Yeah. But there's
The
not
Chronomat.
much. Apart from the skeletization, they're just slightly different, but they're all the same price. $82,290. But look, don't get me wrong, I think they're pretty watches. And if I had to pick any of them for myself, I'd go with the Navi timer. Navi timer or the Premier. But out of my league.
Did you see the new Studio Underdog that was released this week, Scratchy?
No. Geez, you're on all the new releases, mate.
It's called the Salmon.
But they did a salmon dial ages ago, didn't they?
Yes, they've gone to a Swiss movement now, Solita 510 manual chronograph mono pusher. And you know they're usually about £500. They've now jumped to £1,700 on this new release. And they had two releases as well. They've done a limited one on the Tuesday and then done the main release on the Wednesday.
And what was it called? The salmon dial?
Salmon. Yeah, it's grey with a salmon outline colour.
Let's have a look.
I'll say that's jumps quite a lot considering they used to only be around the £500 to £800 mark.
Well, I'm having a look at it now. It already says that it's out of stock. Let me bring it up for you.
Yeah.
So, sold quick. Look, I like their watches. I think they're nice.
So they've gone up in quality.
Yeah, but
they're
sold
not using the Seagull anymore, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah, this one's got the Solita SW 510.
Oh, okay.
And it's gone to mono pusher as well.
Super Luminova. Accurate to -5 +5. Yeah, the Solita 510. It looks like a pretty watch. And clearly the price that's gone up made no difference because they're sold out.
Yeah, and they've done a limited one with no writing on it at all, just completely no markers. That sold out in 2 hours, that one.
Series, I assume it's on the Series 3 one.
They might not even have that limited one on, because that's the standard one they come out with. And they come out, done one that's got no writing on it, no loom.
Oh,
no
actually,
markers.
Is that blue?
No, it's the same colour as that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they brought a limited edition salmon out.
Yeah. No, I hadn't seen it. Look, it looks nice to me. I like it. You know, bit of a price jump. But it looks fine to me. But would you pay £1,700 for it?
The thing is, they hold their money at the moment. The studio underdogs, doesn't matter what one you got. And as soon as
Yeah.
they went on sale, someone had put one up on eBay, and
I bet they did.
he cancelled their order straight away because he found out who it was on eBay, and then went back to his order book and cancelled their order because they're trying to flip it
Oh, trying to flip it. Yeah.
before it's even released. Like,
They even got it. Yeah.
but yeah, they're
Hey,
definitely
look.
going.
Yeah, it's the same thing at the moment. They're all trying to bring out a new watch, but and they're all. I watched a video. Do you watch it? I really like him. He clearly knows a lot more about business and watches and stuff than I. So he may be getting it wrong, but he makes a lot of sense. That bloke called he's a South African guy, and he lives.
ID Designs. Yeah, I watch him every
No,
week.
no, not him,
No,
not
no,
him. I
the
do
other
like
one.
him though, but I do
Oh,
like him.
the bald-headed guy. I know the one,
Yeah,
the South African
this
bald-headed
watch,
guy.
that watch. I think
Yeah,
it's called This Watch, That Watch. And he was talking about this exact thing, where he was saying that essentially, look, he did a 28-minute video, I think it was, and he sort of focused on what's the brand called? Dropped straight out of my head. The one that made the 12, Christopher Ward.
yeah,
He was sort of using them as an example, and he essentially was saying that they make like 3 times X is the retail price of what they make the watch for. So they make it for a third, and they times it by 3, and that's how they come up with the retail price, right? They never make more than 3x of the manufacturer's price. And then he went into great detail. I mean, go and watch the video. I think he's fantastic, some of the stuff he talks about. And he essentially was saying, look, these micro brands, opposed to focusing now on their entry level, they're trying to up the material, up the finishing, up the appearance of the watch, opposed to making new models, and they're making a larger profit margin from it. And I guess this is an example of that. Where this watch has already been out, they're just refining it, putting a better movement in it, all that sort of stuff, and then and making a significant price range or price rise.
But where you're buying direct from the manufacturer, obviously you don't get the AD's markup on it as well, do you?
Yeah, but that becomes more profit for the manufacturer or the micro brand as such.
Yeah, that's what you're saying about the Christopher Wald. Because you're buying it straight from them, you don't actually pay, because they make enough profit. They don't need to put the extra money on that the AD would cost.
Yeah, well, all of that aside, what he's trying to say is, if they make the same watch, all the tooling's the same. They've already got the tooling. They've already got, the product. Essentially, they're just making it out of, change of material. Go to, titanium or whatever. Refine the finishing. Just make it an overall better product without actually changing a lot of their costs, and then whacking the price up, double the price of the other one, of the base level. So they're putting more energy in their higher level watches opposed to their base level watch. Do you know what I mean? Because they're making a higher profit off it. It sort of made sense to me when he was talking about it. But yeah,
because
anybody
now
gets bored
Christopher Wald have gone into like Longines and territory, haven't they?
Well,
and Oris.
Look,
They're starting
based
to
on
creep up with Oris, aren't they?
Yeah, well, look, he was making that exact point, and he was saying, like, they're definitely, competing with the Longines and the Orises of the world and the Tag. And he's saying that they've grown to such a level now where they've got boutiques and all that sort of stuff. that he wants, they really shouldn't be classed as a micro brand anymore. They're really trying to become a brand as such. They want to get away from that
fully
stigma.
independent brand.
Yeah, well, they want to get away from that stigma of being a micro brand.
Did you see the new Baltic stone dolls that came out?
Yes, I did. I really liked them.
They sold out. They were boutique only, and they've all sold out. There's only 200 of each, wasn't there?
Yeah, 200 of each. Yep, three colors. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Paris,
200 of each.
London, and New York boutique versions.
Yeah, and each color represented each country.
Yeah, I really like
Yeah,
them.
yeah, they look nice.
And they're not a bad price for a stone doll as well, either.
Yeah, I can't remember the price.
I think about 1,200 quid in English.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, again, that was to celebrate their opening of their boutiques around the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, the London one's been out since 2023.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it took them some time. So.
Yeah, it's the New York one they've recently opened.
Oh, okay. I mean, they should have. Yeah, if you're worldwide, you should. I guess they're probably hesitant in relation to how much money they're laying out. But 200 pieces worldwide is not many pieces. You know what I mean? They probably should have made more. But no, you watch. No doubt they'll come out with a slightly tweak it and bring it out for the masses because they've sold so well, and won't limit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
So have you heard the news about Al Fayed?
No, what's happened?
He's being done for sexual assaults on his Harrod employees. Something
Really?
like 100 plus women have come forward. Yeah.
No, that hasn't hit the waves across here.
Yeah, it
When
just
did all
broke.
this happen?
It broke yesterday on the news. I was watching it because
No,
he'd been
okay.
investigated a couple of times for sexual assault and he'd always got away with it. But
No,
yeah,
okay.
it's big news over here.
Well, I imagine it would be. It's the largest or most expensive family-owned department store in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, he sold it 10 years ago, didn't he?
Oh, he sold it, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, 10 years ago he sold Harrods. But yeah, thing is though, for all the women that he has obviously done these horrible things to, he's dead now, so they can't even prosecute him, can they?
Well, yeah. I mean, no doubt people are going to come forward and try to sue the estate.
But Harrods themselves have they said they're going to put up compensation for the employees or ex-employees.
Well, if they've already moved that quick, there's probably fuel to the fire. They probably knew it was going on.
Yeah, because there's one story last night. He was investigated for a 15-year-old, but because of the lawyers and everything, CPS has dropped the charges.
No, okay. That's not good.
But yeah, sorry, it's totally diverse away from watches now.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Because there's a certain
I don't know
YouTuber.
anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. So, but yeah, it doesn't sound good.
There's a certain ex-watch YouTuber that's worked for him back in the day at Fulham Football Club.
Oh, okay.
I ain't going down any further, but
Yeah.
I bet that's going to come and bite him next.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to stay tuned. I didn't know anything about it. First I heard of it.
What about the chat? Have any of them? Anyone in the chat heard?
No. Brian says, "What about Sean Combs?" That's at what's his name? Diddy, or whatever his name is. He's in big trouble. That bloke.
Yeah.
He's in big trouble. We all know who with silver hair.
Mikey knows what I'm going on about.
Yeah. Mikey, the diddler Diddy. Yeah. Yeah. No, all that stuff's bad. I don't like any of that. But I think I might wrap this show up, mate. I've been going for a while, nearly 3 hours, much longer than I thought I would be. But thanks very much for coming on. I really appreciate it, mate. I really do.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome, mate.
Great talk, and I've really enjoyed it. To all the people in the chat, Tan, Brian, Mikey, Apes. Who else is there? We had Phoenician Cedar, Luxy Poo. Thanks for all your help, Luxy. Patrick B. J Gray, JB. And if I've missed any others, I apologise. But I've had a great time. The show's nearly gone. We've been going for 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Just upvote and leave a comment because it helps with the algorithm.
Yeah. I don't know what the algorithm is, but I agree. If everyone can subscribe and upvote,
and even leave a comment afterwards on the video, that helps as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if everyone can take a couple of minutes and do that, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support for people to come on and listen to me dribble. And
see if we can get you up over 100 subscribers by next week.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. That'd be great for me. To be honest, I never thought that I'd get up to where we are, but with the support of many people that I've already commented, I won't just keep saying their names over and over, but they know who they are. I really appreciate all the support. Skyzen, you've come on a couple of times now, mate. I appreciate it. I really enjoy our chats.
So do I.
And mate, I'll be here next Saturday. So if anybody's around next Saturday, I'll try to keep doing a Saturday show. And as I said earlier, as I get a bit more confident and a bit more skilled, I might try to do a midday show. A midweek show when there's nothing else on to give somebody, to give the guys something to watch.
At least everyone knows you've got a time slot on Saturday, like it's afternoon here in the UK.
Yep.
Which is good.
That's a good time for you guys?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's just after lunch. You started at 1:30 today, my time.
Yeah, so sort of that 1:30 to 2 o'clock is the time that I'd be starting. I started a little bit earlier last week because Ken came on and he needed to do his stream, so we started a little bit earlier. But this sort of 10, like for me it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, but for you 1:32. I'll try to keep this time frame going on a Saturday.
It's just a little bit early for our American cousins.
Yeah. Well, I know Tan gave me a suggestion to go sort of half an hour from now, really, and the Americans sort of start opening up, or even a bit later for you guys when people are sort of.
It'd be like their breakfast show for the Americans.
Yeah, but for me it just becomes too late. Like it's 1:30 a.m. here.
Exactly.
For me it just if I start a show at this time like now, it's just too late for me. So
yeah, you're looking at 4 o'clock plus in the morning by finishing.
Yeah, that's right. It's just too late for me. But I'll try to keep this time slot every Saturday. And as I get a bit more confident and, learn a bit more and all that sort of stuff, I'll try to do a sort of midweek show. But for the moment, each Saturday, and we'll take it from there. So again, Skyzen, I really appreciate you coming on. I've enjoyed our chat, and I'll catch you later.
Brother.
Yep.
Yeah, speak to you all soon.
All right. Bye-bye.